Where the hoes at, man? Where the hoochie mamas at? Does anybody say hoochie mamas anymore? I'm showing my age. I'm showing I'm 86. Um, the proverbial where the hoes at question, and the whole hookup culture, and the question of, does it really just leave people depressed and lonely at the end of the day, at the end of their lifespan? Does this whole hookup culture have consequences in it, to it rather? And this isn't me preaching, because first of all, let me get this disclaimer out of the way and just say this. If you're out here getting smutted out, please do so. If you find it fun, please do so. This video is not preaching to you. The last thing I want to do is preach. This is just an observation. It's just a question, because we already know depression is terrible in the States. We already know there's many factors, and this is probably one of the leading factors. So if you're a young man out here wetting your willy up, wetting your whistle, so to speak, putting your hot dogs in some buns, getting your, putting your schlong in a box, go ahead, man. If you're a young lady out here that's taking ding dongs every other week, right? Getting your kitty pounded like a animal cruelty case, do that. If you're out here getting nailed like a damn painting on a wall, you're out here getting 9-inch nailed, by all means, keep doing what you're doing if it makes you happy. If it makes you happy. If this is your pleasure, then go ahead and do it. But we have to ask ourselves, is hookup culture really going to fulfill us like it's advertised? Or is it going to leave a lot of people depressed and alone? This is Tarik Talks. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me. Sign up for my Solid Titan membership motherfucking YouTube channel if you haven't done so. And we're going to get right into it. Hooking up, right? Hooking up. It's the cool thing to do, right? You're hanging out with your low vibrational friends, right? Maybe in a lower socioeconomic atmosphere, and all of a sudden you hear, where the hoes at? And maybe one of your friends talks about his conquest of a whale he speared the other night. Of course, let him tell it. She was a baddie. She was a dime piece. She was a 10. But let him tell that. But he's not going to show you a picture, first of all, because the chick looked like Precious. So that's another story. And this whole hookup thing is very glorified out here. But the thing about it is, no one really stops and asks, hey, look, is this something that is going to lead me to be depressed and disappointed at the end? Because the longer you keep up, look, listen, especially for young women, and I know a lot of chicks hate hearing this, but men too, don't get it twisted, guys. Y'all get affected by this too. The longer you're out here doing this whole hookup thing and trying to be a player or being a thotty, the harder it is in the future to settle down with somebody. Because for the first problem is, your brain is going to be fried, right? Your brain is going to be fried from all the disappointments, all of the heartbreaks. Because if you're doing a whole hookup thing, you're going to meet some scuzzy, it's like attracts like. If you're out here doing some scuzzy stuff, you're going to attract a lot of scuzzy people, okay? Male or female. If you're a man, you're going to attract some chicks that get taken in the back seat of their 2004 Altima on the first encounter from a guy, right? Guy meets her an hour later. He's knocking a catalytic converter off of her Nissan Altima. He's knocking the lashes off of her face. Okay? And then same thing for young ladies. You out here doing this whole hookup thing, thinking it's fun, thinking it's empowering. Because of course, all your girls, all your girlfriends are gonna talk about their adventures on the weekend. And the thing about it is, the thing I've noticed, a lot of these chicks are starting to act like dudes now. Like they're bragging about the bodies that they caught. Oh yeah, girl, I blew him, and I was in this Disney in the back of my Nissan on Saturday or whatever. Hey, I sold this pic on OnlyFans for $5. I sold a picture of my left titty, and it's like now the chick that's trying to do good, even if it's a chick that's trying to do good, now she's gonna be called a square. Just like how us men, if you're not getting no play, you're gonna be called. You're gonna be made to feel like a loser. Oh, you don't get no hoes. You ain't getting no hoes, and all that type of stuff. So it's kind of the same thing for young ladies now, unfortunately, because a long time ago it will be shame. Like dang, you took pipe from two dudes at the same time on an air mattress. You got your world rocked on an air mattress by two dudes. Back in the day, that would be shamed on. Nowadays, the friend group might high five each other like, "Oh, you go, girl. You go, girl. You got piped down by two bums in a project apartment in a 1-bedroom on their inflatable air mattress that was deflating, right? Because if you guys ever own an air mattress, you got to inflate that bitch like every other day or every day sometimes, right? Unless they got a really fancy one from like Target or something that lasts about a week, okay? But no, this chick got piped down on a deflated air mattress, and everyone's high-fiving each other. All the chicks are high-fiving each other. And little do y'all know that that's going to greatly affect y'all in the future, because no matter how much you try to hide it, there's going to be signs. Dudes know, at least experienced dudes. And I don't give a damn I don't care who comes on here and says you shouldn't judge don't judge females, and why do you judge females? They like to have sex too. And it's not the fact that they're doing it. It's the fact, like, dang, you got piped down by a slew of random guys. It's like, who wants that at the end of the day, right? To wife up. And I know the whole thing about marriage is dissipating and stuff like that. Well, it's crazy, man, because for such a liberating hookup movement, there sure is a lot of depressed ass people walking around. There sure is a lot of lonely single people going to the bars. A lot of lonely single people going to nightclubs. And I'll never forget this. When I used to be clubbing we be clubbing, right? When I used to be clubbing in my early 20s, I would see a gaggle of old broads going to the club, and I would just be thinking to myself, like, dang, these chicks don't have husbands. They probably do have husbands, unfortunately. But, like, damn, they don't have no husbands. They're out here getting drunk. They're out here getting drunk, stumbling all over themselves and looking goofy as hell. Like, is this what it is? And it's like, it's real trashy. The whole culture, the whole hookup culture is trashy as hell, because it's advertised as liberation, but it's really not, because you're just turning yourself, especially for young ladies, you're just turning yourself into an object. So now every time a guy sees you, of course, he sees you half naked. So what do you think? What do you think he's gonna first thing on his mind is to pipe you down real quick, and that's it. And the whole thing with hookup culture, this whole ghosting stuff, You know, people getting ghosted. This shit, getting ghosted was like, it happened. Don't get it wrong. It happened, but it was never bad. It was never like this damn bad. Now it's just everybody has so many options, or at least they think they do, that they just use people for attention. They just use each other. Oh, I'm gonna lead this person on. I'm gonna lead this guy on. I'm gonna right swipe him to, you know, lead him on just to drain his attention, and then I'm gonna ghost him when he asks to go out. You know, stuff like that. And it just leaves like a path of lonely people, because it gives off this false sense of options, right? It gives off a false sense of you have options, but in all reality, you really don't, because you're gonna run out. You know, options usually run out. So, you know, a lot of these chicks, they're like, oh, you know, he's boring me. I'll just hop to the next guy. And this is like hopping from guy to guy to guy until they get older and they're like, oh shit, I'm single and I'm over here sipping wine. I'm here drinking wine for the seventh night straight, and I'm just depressed and I'm lonely. And they done bought that whole myth about, you know, hookups are liberating. It's supposed to be liberating, right? It's supposed to be like this whole, you know, I don't want to cook and clean, I'm oppressed. And with guys, you know, even with men, like, oh, I'm not gonna put up with a nagging wife. Well, guys, let me tell you something. Relationships are work. It's not gonna be all peaches and cream, right? It's not gonna be all fun. It's not gonna be all peaches and roses, or whatever the hell, peaches and cream, or whatever the fuck. And who, you know, who wants to be, even an old dude? Who the hell wants to be an old guy? Who wants to be that old ass man in a lounge trying to pick up chicks? Who wants to be that old grandpa looking guy still flirting, you know, with chicks half his age, trying to get them to get hookups and stuff? Like, you know, and some guys might get offended and like, oh, we don't care. You just mad that this and that. Man, I've done that crap. I've freaking done the whole hookup thing, and it really was a waste of time. Was it fun? Yeah, it was fun. It was cool. But at some point, it's like, this shit is useless. I'm running into a whole bunch of scuzzies, and the crowd I'm hanging out with are scuzzy, because if you're in a hookup culture, you're gonna be hanging out with a lot of scuzzy people. It is what it is. I'm gonna let y'all know this, that the whole hookup culture, the friend group that you're gonna have is a bunch of scuzzies. You know, guys that are constantly bragging, oh yeah, I'll fuck this dude's girlfriend and stuff. Like, good for you, dude. You know, you want a trophy? You are being a piece of crap, and you found a chick that was a piece of garbage that opened her legs for you. You want an award for that? You know? So, I mean, it really does leave people depressed and alone. Because you see a lot of these young ladies, man, the former party girls, they be lonely as hell, because first of all, they can't leave that lifestyle alone. That's first. They constantly want new diz. But then, like I say, when they get older, it's gonna get harder. They're not gonna find those, you know. And like, what guy in that age group wants to marry an old thought? I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it funky. So anyway, hope you guys like this video. Peace.